licensed psychologist here in New Jersey. And I'm currently the behaviorist and school psychologist here at Arbor. So first I want to say how fortunate I am to stand with the LGBTQ community here in Piscataway. These students and their families are absolutely amazing, and their strength and courage to live their truth are an inspiration to everyone. Board members, we are in a mental health crisis. We are in a mental health crisis. We are in a mental health crisis. 3 months ago, the CDC released new statistics on high school students aimed at shedding a light on the extreme toll COVID is having on our youth. Many of the high school students were middle school students when COVID began, and this data is extremely relevant. In 2021, more than 37% of high school students experienced quote-unquote poor mental health, and 44% reported feeling sad or hopeless in the past year. 55% of the students surveyed reported experiencing emotional abuse by a parent or an adult, and 11% experienced physical abuse as well. The CDC acting principal deputy director, Dr. Deborah Howry, said, quote, "This data echoes a cry for help. The COVID-19 pandemic has created traumatic stressors that have the potential to further erode students' mental well-being. Our research shows that surrounding youth with the proper support can reverse these trends and help our youth now and in the future," end quote. If these numbers weren't already appalling enough, the CDC states lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth and female students reported greater levels of poor mental health, attempted suicides, and emotional abuse. I've had the distinct privilege of working with Dr. Mosdale for the last 2 years. For students with problematic behaviors, Dr. Mosdale and I would create plans for students leaving my school at Arbor and entering her school at Shore. Plans were focused on helping students to develop more positive behaviors so that they could be successful in school. I was always struck by Dr. Mosdale's commitment to students who she never met yet. Without fail, she would make sure that the plans in place were effective and provide the best for her students, because she viewed those students as part of her community before she even knew them. Dr. Mosdale would even contact me multiple times during the school year to make sure the very best were being done for her students. Dr. Mosdale and I graduated from Rutgers University at the Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology. This graduate program is consistently ranked as one of the best programs in the state and country. Our program is grounded in evidence-based practices, and everything Dr. Mosdale has done with the Happiness Club is backed by research. The CDC describes one thing as quote-unquote critical protection, that is school connectedness. When students felt connected to an adult or peers, there was an 18% decrease in feeling sad or hopeless, 8% decrease in students considering suicide, and an incredible 50% decrease in attempted suicide, 50% decrease in attempted suicide, a 50% decrease in attempted suicide. The research is clear. The visible support of adults and staff members in the school can save the lives of our LGBTQ youth. Shore Middle School needs Dr. Mosdale. Board members, I ask you, after hearing all this research from the CDC, are you still willing to get rid of Dr. Mosdale? The Day of Silence is a national youth movement aimed at bringing attention to the silence faced by the LGBTQ community. Board members, please, don't silence Dr. Mosdale and the students at Shore Middle School.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. I'll be brief. My name is Alexander Schutz, S-C-H-U-E-T-Z. Kind of tough. I live at 21 James Street in Newark, New Jersey. I am a teacher, a high school teacher in Newark, New Jersey. I'm here with a colleague. You'll hear from her shortly. I want to first affirm and repeat what everyone else has said. This is a matter of incredibly grave importance for the LGBT students. The marginalized students of any kind in your school to know that you will protect them and you will protect the people that will protect them. But I'm going to assume for a moment that you don't care about that. I believe that you do. I have to believe that you do, but I'm going to assume that you don't. From purely the personnel standpoint, this is a ridiculous dismissal. I come from the Newark school system where we are desperately clinging to anyone we can in this time of a teacher shortage, where we are doing anything we can to get talented, bright, caring people in the door, like Dr. Mazda. And haven't been teaching long, right? 2 long, hard years. You guys were there too. You know how long these years have been. But I've already noticed that the teachers that put their head down, that say, yes, boss, that go by the chain of command, they're not the ones that wind up fighting for their livelihood. They're the ones that get to get tenure. And the ones that go the extra mile, stick their neck out for the students who are in danger, who go beyond what their job demands of them and demands more of their job. Those are the ones that wind up out looking for another job. This is all to say, I know we don't get to know when the Donaldson hearing is. I do hope, right? We haven't even been confirmed necessarily that there is one. I do hope there is one. I know we don't get to know when it is, but I hope, and I think I speak for all at least education workers in here when I say, I hope you will use that meeting to plead with her to come back to this job, not to get rid of her.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello. My name is Yvette Jordan. That's Y-V-E-T-T-E. Last name Jordan, J-O-R-D-A-N. I live at 47 Wilbur Avenue, and that's in Newark, New Jersey also. I'm an educator in Newark Board of Education. I am a secondary history teacher. And in my classroom, I think I'm a halfway decent teacher. And my kids are always there, and I'm like, why don't you get out of my classroom? I need some space. And they say, no, Miss Jordan, we just want to hang out here. I'm like, for what? I need some room. No, because you hear me, and you listen, and I can say whatever I want in your classroom. Well, all evening, you've heard students, you've heard parents, you've heard community activists, you've heard my fellow peers who are educators, you've heard union representatives, and all of us are saying the same thing. Most importantly, what I want you to do, and something I don't think anybody said with the exception of one person, and that is to see them. See who they are, which is something I don't know if a board of education really does. See them, hear them. Their voices are loud, and they're screaming and telling you what they need and who is there for them right now. And as I think it was one of my colleagues, I forget who it was, I think it was an educator though, who was speaking, no, it was a parent, and he was speaking about his job in the insurance business, and he was saying that his boss was not helpful, and that when you have an employee who you feel needs coaching, you coach them because they have so many other attributes that are positive. Clearly, she does. She has so many attributes that are positive, and you've heard about that. So if indeed there is something that we are not aware of, and it's possible, really clearly, I know it is, wouldn't you coach that person up so that the students are heard and happy? Happy kids, imagine that. I thank you.
Well, thank you for your comments.
Before I speak, I would like to allow the children to speak first, if y'all have anything to say.
Hello, my name is Jade King. I live on 231 Bexley Lane, and I go to T Shore Middle School. Before I start, what I actually have to say, Jordan, can you come here real quick? So, number one, I was at the last Board of Education meeting, and literally, there was a lot of stuff said, not really enough addressing the topic, because it was really just a lot of back and forth. And me and my friend here, Jordan, as Mr. Frank Rinelli, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it right, as he may have heard, there was a walkout being planned. Me and my friend Jordan, we did indeed plan that. And they did also try to give us 3-week suspension, which is not in the student handbook. They can't do that, because we did check. And what's it called? We are students, and I know you guys are very being civil. And stuff like that, but obviously people are not going to keep their composure when somebody who they care for very much, who's the only person who's been there for them since 7th grade, because me and my friends, everybody behind me, I can tell you, we was struggling. And I'm pretty sure the only person who was there for us, we're not going to have composure when the only person who was there for us in school, a school we didn't want to be in, because it's not very likable. Not one bit. They do not treat us like they want us to be heard, and obviously our silence was not loud enough. They silence us enough as it is, and to fire the only person who was there for us, nobody here is gonna have composure. So for y'all to say y'all care about the students so very much and then answer a question about gun rights and then say y'all want the guns in the school but not the teacher who's keeping the students from killing themselves because we're not being hurt, then it doesn't seem like y'all care about the students that y'all are supposed to be there for. Because y'all, we come here for us. Y'all teach us. We come to school for us. It is against the law for us to not attend school. We have to go to court if we miss school. And we're missing school if we don't want to be there. We're missing school and we're missing school if, and we're missing school if we're not feeling safe. We're feeling bullied. We're feeling attacked. And Dr. Mosdell keeps us from that. But that's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.
Hello, my name is Aron Gibra Hewitt. I will spell it out for you. A-A-R-O-N, last name G-H-E-B-R-E-H-I-W-E-T. I live at 117 Royal Drive, Piscataway, New Jersey. I would like to say one thing, just so the board can think about this and ponder this in the upcoming days and months. 60 years ago, there were organized people up on a stage and an angry community chomping at the bit for answers about an issue. That issue was about segregated schools. Do you really want to be remembered like those school board members who denied black and brown children the right to be with their white peers? Because it seems like you're trying to emulate that by denying Dr. Mosdell the ability to help these children. You can see that Dr. Mosdell has inspired this community in more ways than I could have imagined coming here. If she was breaking rules and not following orders, and it resulted with this amount of community solidarity and organization, then those rules should not have been on the books. Those rules should not be enforced. Because rules that would stifle this sort of grassroots activism, this sort of community passion for children, speaking their truths, wanting to be heard and seen, would be downright criminal. The ability for children to come up here and speak, and the fact that Dr. Mosdell is able to inspire that in them, means that y'all should be awarding her, not criticizing her, not trying to take away her position. And it is downright disgusting that she's being put through this. How many testimonies of students do we have to hear about the importance of educators who see and hear them? How many stories do we have to hear about the past of our LGBTQ friends and allies burying their friends and allies? I am tired of hearing this. I moved to this community not even a month ago, and I was made aware of this issue. And I am shocked and appalled at the community I have moved into that would take away such a great and powerful resource for these children. So I'm not here to appeal to some sense of politics or rhetoric. I am here to appeal to your humanity. These children need her. They need her. They have been screaming and crying for her this whole time. And I cannot believe that I have to petition to educators, to people who are responsible to these children, to give them the resources they need. It is not a hard science. The students have been chomping at the bit for Dr. Mosdell. They need Dr. Mosdell. And to stand in the way of the students is unjust and criminally negligent, in my opinion. Now, I am no legal expert. I know that is not a legal opinion, so I'm not going to say anything like that. But it is beyond absurd. It is beyond ridiculous. And frankly, I am tired of having to come up here to defend the rights and the ability for students, the LGBT community, to be heard. The jury has been out for a long time. LGBTQ people are here and want to be seen, and they will be seen, whether you mandate it with rules or not. And so, frankly, Dr. Mosdell is a great resource to this community, and I don't know if she's still here in the audience, but I would like you to know that you have been, well, she may not be in the room physically right now, but I hope she knows that this community needs her and appreciates her and values the contributions that she gives to them. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is HELEN, C-A-L-L-A-N. I live at 1080 Oakcroft Lane. And unlike what somebody on this Board of Education said, I am not a young lady. And I can tell you, at turning 30 this month, it fucking sucks to hear. It's terrible. Being misgendered is the worst. Being treated as who you're not is terrible. And at 30, if that's shitty, I can't fucking imagine how awful it is in middle school.
Can you just please watch your language?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
No.
I can't imagine how terrible it is in middle school. It's got to be downright awful. And I'm also a teacher at Rutgers. I'm a teacher at Rutgers, New Brunswick. And I sit with new freshmen every semester who come in to learn logic in the philosophy department. And I get a whole bunch of queer kids from all over this state. I get queer kids from Hunterdon County, I get queer kids from Morris County, and I get queer kids from Central Jersey. And without fail, for the last 5 years that I've been at Rutgers, the tales that I get from my kids in Hunterdon, my kids in Morris are horrifying. And the kids in Central Jersey are always appalled at the state of support for LGBTQ kids in those counties and in those areas of New Jersey. And they always say one thing without fail. They go, God, it sounds like you live in the South. And I would hate more than anything else for this town to end up like that. I would hate to have my kids from Piscataway coming in telling Hunterdon and Morris horror stories instead of being like the rest of the kids from Central Jersey who go, God, I can't believe that there are places in New Jersey like that. I don't know what's going to change your mind. I certainly hope something does, because at the end of the day, I grew up queer and disabled in the South, and that's a nightmare. It's an unreal and unmitigated nightmare to this day. And there may be difficulties that you have on, that people have on some sort of interpersonal level with Dr. Mosdell, or some sort of administrative difficulty with Dr. Mosdell. But there are kids who come to Rutgers who are saved by teachers like that. There are kids who come in telling stories where kids from Hunterdon and Morris go, I wish I had a teacher like that. I wish I had help like that. And to throw that away for administrative problems is absurd. It's just ridiculous. You've heard tonight a million different ways to solve this before it got to that level. And I hope you'll at least leave tonight with a moderately guilty conscience, because you sure as hell should have one.
Thank you for your comments.
Camilo Rebolito, CAMILO REBOLLEDO, 51 Tappan Street, Avenel, New Jersey.
Thank you.
I'm really upset. I'm really upset because I think what I see is grown men who are stuck being bullies. They can't stand up for what's right. It is not too late. I recognize it because I was like that too. I used to say the F slur. I used to be a bigot. I used to engage in bully tactics. I'm 28 now. I'm proud of the growth I've made. And I identify as a queer person myself now. I hated myself growing up. I wish I had someone like Dr. M. When I graduated, I went to the Marines. I spent 4 years there. I continued to hate myself. The louder I was about how much I hated the LGBT community, I felt empowered by that. And I think y'all resonate with that. I think you guys realize what that feels like, that power when you're above someone. I'm here to tell y'all, these kids, they told you today, you're not above them. You're not above them. I hope something does change your mind, because what I see is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I can't believe it. Stay up tonight. Stay up a little bit longer. You guys are cowards. And I knew you were a snake in the grass when I walked in and you were like, oh, here's the bathroom. Yeah. I'm trying to get ahead of it, trying to look like a nice guy. The superintendent I'm talking about. That's bullshit. You guys are bullshit. I feel like it's the gentleman up there. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for your comments.
Hi, my name is ASHA Mogul. I live at 125 Timberlake.
I'm sorry,
Drive.
could you just get a little closer to the mic? I can't hear you very well.
My name is ASHA Mogul. I live at 125 Timberlake Drive, Ewing, New Jersey.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight to echo all the people who have said, both here and elsewhere, that they wish they had a counselor or advocate like Dr. Mosdell. Both in past decades and currently, it is extremely rare. Tonight and at the previous meeting, many of you spoke about how important mental health support is. It's Pride Month, and at the last meeting, your DEI consultant presented a PowerPoint about how the district is doing all this amazing work to display outreach to marginalized communities, including the queer community and the Muslim community. But both that night and tonight, you're making it clear that you care more about imagery and words on paper than you care about students. It's obvious that all the superintendent cares about is those words and images on paper, rather than actually supporting marginalized students. And it's the board's responsibility to oversee the superintendent's decisions, and the board can and should overturn the decision to deny tenure to Dr. Mosdell. The superintendent claims that there's mysterious, secret reasons for the denial of tenure, but it's obvious that this is politically motivated, and so the board has a responsibility to take action. You're showing the public what you care about with your actions, and you're showing your students that you care more about polite civility than creating a healthy and safe culture for them. The insinuations about Dr. Mosdell just like giving people a second. What are these insinuations? Like what's going through your mind? Like what could it be? You said tonight that people can't ask questions. All we can do is make comments. But when you said there's reasons that we don't know about, you created a space for people just to come up with the most disgusting or far-fetched reasons and then just let that slide. Like we're all supposed to just imagine that there's horrible and evil reasons that Dr. Mosdell, despite all the words that the students said, that the parents said, that the community members said, those were very powerful. But all you had to say was that there's these reasons that, you know, we just can't reveal, but they're so bad. It's blatant and obvious what's going on here. And if the board doesn't take their responsibility seriously and overturn this decision, then it shows what you actually care about.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. My name is Diana VargasGold. I live in 281 Fairmont, Chatham. I'm a scientist. I work at Rutgers, but mainly I'm a proud friend of Cassia. I know her for many years, and she has a big heart. She cares about kids. She cares about everyone. She's been there for me. She's been there for my kids. We're friends. She's an amazing human being. I wish any of you could talk to her. I wish your kids, if they have issues, mental issues, they could talk to her because she really cares. She could have taken the easy way and resigned, but she's not doing that. She wants to fight. She wants to prove to these kids that there is future if you have a voice. Yes? She has the right to say what she thinks, what she feels. She's teachers. My dad is a math teacher, he retired. My sister is a Spanish teacher, and my brother is a teacher, teaches vet in a vet school. But my God, psychologists, they don't have to teach 1 + 1 is 2. What they teach is 1 + 1 is the two of us. I'm here for you, I'm helping you, and that is harder. And I'm not putting down other teachers because my father and my sister and my brother are teachers. But God, the job they have, I bet you all know people that are going through mental health problems, maybe some of you, and you know what that means. If any of our kids have trouble and they have a psychologist and they feel close to the person, it's like a good friend. You cannot just switch and change it, bring a new one. You can't. It's not that easy. We open up to friends. It's not just a teacher. It's not just an educator. It's more than that. And we have to respect and help with that. Okay, so history is not comfortable. History is uncomfortable. Some school districts are trying to stop or to ban books like Mouse from schools because they show a reality about the Holocaust. My husband is Jewish. We're trying to teach our kids from very young what happened there because we don't want history to repeat. Let's don't ban. History has to be. People have to see the history how it is. You can't hide. It's amazing. I was sitting in the back, seeing all these signs, just the back of the signs, and I'm like, I wish I could read what they're saying. I come in the front, and it's amazing. You have to read what they're saying. You can't hide history. This is history. All what they're saying is history. It's love. It's what they're going through. This is like stickers in a video, and you know what I'm talking about. Stickers in a video. You can't hide stickers. There are all kinds of stickers. You can't hide them. I beg you to please consider the decision and see what the kids are saying. It's just, let's make a change. Let's tell these kids that, hey, you can fight for your rights. This is not a win or lose situation. You can't say, oh, I need to win this one. She's going to be fired. No, it should not be like that. Please, I'm begging you, I'm looking at you through your eyes. And I'm telling you to please reconsider and think what the kids are saying, think what the parents are saying, think of your heart is saying, and what would you say to your kid if his psychologist is being fired for helping the kid? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh, thank you, sir. Hello? Hi, my name is William Silversmith, and I live at 1 JFK Boulevard, Somerset, New Jersey. So you've heard a lot of things tonight. You've heard from the students, and you've heard how deeply Dr. Mosdell means to them. You've heard a little bit about the political situation. You've heard what a contingent moment this is. You've heard how this moment resonates with history from a professor at Rutgers. And you've heard glowing reviews, and you won't reveal the performance reason that is potentially just made up, that Dr. Mosdell won't be reinstated. And so I'm with the Central Jersey Democratic Socialists of America, and one of the things we stand for is a socialist, and just, and democratic society. And we do live in what is allegedly a democracy here. So what I'm going to do right now is, I think there's been an unhealthy diffusion of responsibility. And I think that what you all have to do right now, individually, is state right now, on the record, whether you will support Dr. Mosdell's reinstatement, right now. Let's go around the room. Board member, on the right, will you support Dr. Mosdell's reinstatement?
Sir, all questions are through the chair, and we are here
No,
in public
answer
comment.
the question. Come on, boo. Answer the question. Council, board member number 1, will you support the reinstatement? Answer the question.
Board members should not be answering that question.
Answer the question. Board member number 2, will you answer the question? Will you support the reinstatement? Anyone who doesn't answer is a coward. Number 3, will you answer the question? Support the reinstatement. Board member number 4, support the reinstatement. Number 5. Number 6, I like how you're looking me in the eyes, that's brave. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10, will you support the reinstatement? Number 11. Number 12. Very fantastic, you're all cowards. Have a good night.
Thank you for your comments. If there's no one else to address the board, can I get a motion to close?
You have another speaker, Tom.
One more speaker? Okay.
Good evening, Sid Madison from 176 Blackford Avenue, Piscataway. Completely different subject, but also very important to all the young folks here. You're educating them. You need to make sure that the planet is livable for them, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I saw where you have an energy program. I like that. I see where you get $500,000 from SRECs. Way more than I get from my little house. So that's good too. The purpose